Hey, seventh grade, how we doing? Let me get rid of that thing right there and hop into pod today. It's sharing from not the first slide. Apparently, I wasn't super prepared. But let's keep rolling, shall we? So, hope everybody had a good long weekend here on Monday, filming this for you guys Tuesday morning, seventh grade. So, just two reminders or things to think about. So, at the conclusion of last week, technically we're over halfway through a pretty unique and relatively difficult school year. And we have every hope that things will look a little bit different next year in terms of COVID protocols, the things we've had to do. I was telling teachers recently the fact that 95, 99% of our students have bought into the message of, hey, no one loves masks. People have had to sacrifice with different lunches. This isn't what we want. It's not just to pick on people, but it's for the collective safety of all. That 99% of you guys have bought into that and wear your mask consistently is so impressive. I remember people thinking about this when it first happened and said, oh, middle school kids are not going to wear masks. Well, ours obviously do. So I really appreciate that. Thankfully, we've still been able to have some fun. Obviously, we've been able to keep learning. We're lucky to be in school where other people weren't. But I just wanted to tell you, we're on the downward slide of this particular school year. So good for you guys. Today, for me, Monday, we have off because we're celebrating the life of Martin Luther King. You probably will associate him with the I Have a Dream speech, which is certainly important. But I think last year when I had pod, I just showed a quick clip of that. I don't want that to be his only legacy, though. Okay, a person who had a huge impact on race relations in our country and the long overdue civil rights movement. And he did so through passive, nonviolent resistance. Okay, by not trying to make things worse with violence, but showing through character what he could do. So here's a couple lesser known quotes that don't go with the I Have a Dream speech. One of them about education, which I love. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. I think those might be two separate technically, but I love this, okay? I ask you often on surveys, are you asked to just memorize stuff? We have a lot of information at our fingertips on Chromebooks and the internet right now. Teachers are helping you be critical of that information, to look at it, see how it applies to your life, connect it to other things. So the days of just memorizing and moving on, that's not what education should be. But pure just book learning or intelligence or academic learning is nothing unless you can't put some character behind it. That's why we spend so much time on pod and different things like that. Okay. And then this is a short one for him. The time is always ripe to do right. Okay. If you're waiting around and say, I should probably be nicer to that kid. I should probably do something well or do something good for my siblings at home. Or my mom's always ask, the time to do that is to not keep putting it off. It's now. Okay. So just a couple of reminders on this day that we celebrate him. Hopefully you had a chance to reflect on that. Maybe in class you will as well. Last week, we started Unit 3 of this second step curriculum that you guys are trying out for us. We appreciate you listening to these videos, and we're going to ask you for some detailed feedback when we're all done. Unit 3 is all about our thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Last week, we talked about the emotion side of that, strong emotions especially. And we talked a little bit about anger, certainly, about any strong emotion that can have your amygdala take over. Sometimes people call it your animal brain or lizard brain, where the other parts of your brain can no longer function, okay? The ones that help make good, solid, logical, rational decisions. You start looking like this, okay? So the brain science tells us that if we're not careful, that part of your brain can kind of take over, and there's some pretty strong consequences. I told you that story about headbutting a mirror when I was a middle schooler myself. So we have to be careful of that. Not ignore our emotions, which is something that we get into today, but just knowing that we need to be mindful of them and how they're impacting our decisions. Speaking of that, lesson 3.2. So the second one in Unit 3 talks about that progression of often we feel something and then a thought comes after that and then our action comes. Okay. So they wanted us to teach this with a worksheet. And because we're doing it in this fashion and not asking your teachers to teach all this, maybe just in your head go through this with me, would you? Okay. And try to differentiate. This is just a little, not pretest, but sort of. Okay. So this phrase over here, this scenario, is it a thought or emotion? You can say it out loud in your class. I won't hear you, obviously, but let's go from here. All right. So I suck at soccer. Maybe I should quit. A thought based on the thinking part of your brain, or emotion, something you're just feeling. I feel so mad I wasn't picked for the team. I think I know which that one was. I can't believe she did that. What a horrible friend. Maybe the exclamation point is a bit of a clue there. I'm shocked she would do that. And then I feel like I'll never be as funny as him. Okay. A thought or an emotion. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Now we can go to the second step lesson. And, oh, okay, there's an update available. Get out of there. Move over to this. I think I can close that. I can get to the warm up. Feel, think, or do. In this lesson, we will learn how emotions, thoughts, and decisions are connected. Oh, that sounds good. So, for each scenario on your handout, we did all that. Good. Let's define then, shall we? We did a pretest. Let's be specific. So, an emotion is a feeling such as happiness, anger, or fear. And there is some crossover here. Okay. I would say, though, when the thought can be articulated, okay, it's what you're saying to yourself in your head. Sometimes this is just a feeling, and it's hard. There's no language to describe it necessarily. You can see it almost biologically, right? There's signs biologically of it: the crying of sadness, the red face of anger. I don't think steam actually comes out of our ears very often. The smile of happiness. Okay, so we can see that. I don't know, a scary fear face. Eek. I don't know. Okay, the thought is when you start to articulate those things, and it's like your self-talk in your brain. All right. So discussion. This is what we did before. So we're going to take the little test together. Categorize each as an emotion or thought. I'm going to cheat a little bit. So I feel so mad I wasn't picked for the team. I'm going to go with emotion because it says I feel. I mean, come on now. Hey, all right, put that there. Cool. I feel like I'll never be as funny as him. I think that's an emotion as well, kind of resentful. I'm shocked. Sounds like an emotion too, right? I'm shocked. And then I think I can't believe she did that. We're kind of articulating that. We're past the emotion. The emotion might be angry here. And again, maybe the anger of someone poorly at soccer. So maybe we'll put thought there. Okay. And if you don't agree with my answers, you really can't tell me unless you can travel through time and come tell me, because I already filmed this. So let's see how we did. I bet I got one wrong. Let's go. Oh, I feel like I'll never be as funny as him. Oh, even if they say I feel, it's still kind of emotion or a thought. Okay, cool. Okay. We got a short video. It's kind of no words really, just a scenario. That will set us up to talk about that progression of emotions to thought to actions. All right, let's watch. Cool music.
Hey. Hey!
What?
That's my spot. Sit somewhere else.
What's your problem? There's tons of other seats.
I was here first.
Whoa. It's pretty intense. Oh, it wasn't over yet. Sorry. Discussion. Oh, hold on. What are the students in the video feeling and thinking? Derek the dude that was just chilling and eating his lunch. Emotions that we could describe in one word are angry or surprised. His thoughts from this emotion flows to the thoughts. What's this guy's problem? This guy's trying to pick a fight. Isaac, his feelings. Hey, there's my normal spot. I feel disrespected and angry. Look at, they both feel angry. Interesting. And then his thoughts, he's never got past that. He just stole my seat. Okay. So this part gets us through to the whole progression. All right. Different scenario. And in that past scenario, I wonder what the next actions are. All right. We went through emotion, thought. Feel like maybe it was heading to an argument, a fight. Hopefully they could push pause in that scenario and not follow that natural progression. Maddox and his dad got into an argument. Maddox called his dad a name. And his dad said, "That's it. I'm taking your phone away for a week." Okay. Possible feelings on both sides. Yeah. Maddox, angry that his dad took his phone away. I bet that might be the initial one. Guilty that he called his dad a name. I know what the parent, the dad, is hoping that the son feels, not necessarily guilt, but I wonder what the initial behavior was. Okay, but doesn't. Yes, you almost want the kid to be angry for a second because it's a consequence of something, but possible guilt later on. I wonder what Maddox is feeling. We only have feelings for dad here. Okay, cool. So next point in the activity, if I can hit that X. Apparently I can't run a mouse. So what would Maddox think if he was angry? Okay, the initial emotion is anger. What are his thoughts afterwards? This is so unfair. Oh, that my daughter says that one. So unfair. Oh man, and their parents don't love that. What if he was feeling guilty on the other side? Okay. Well, he's probably thinking about the fact that he called his dad a name, and we didn't get specific on that, but it probably wasn't a very nice one. Okay. What about the actions that come next? And we'll see this progression naturally play out. So you feel that anger, you've articulated in the thought. So from the feeling to the thought, this is so unfair. He might storm off or say other things that might cost him some problems. Man, this feels like my daughter's a teenager as I go through this, but probably not a very good action. But if the guilt starts to overcome the emotions of anger, maybe Maddox apologizes, possibly. Okay, and that's what comes next. And parents are softies. I don't know how long the phone was supposed to be gone, but apparently a week, something like that. Okay, so you could think of this if you want, but think of a situation that recently upset you. What were you feeling? Okay, give it a one-word name: anger, fear. Probably not happiness, because we don't think of happiness as being upset. Okay, confused, shocked, whatever. What were you thinking? How dare they? I never thought she or he would do this to us. What decision did you make? Okay, and I wonder how quickly you went through that progression that the decision may not have been super good. All right, I'm going to hop back to this real fast to give you the quote to end on. And it's from last year's book that we studied in pod, Sean Covey's 7 Habits. Sometimes life is moving so fast that we instantly react to everything out of sheer habit. And I would say even he says just out of sheer habit, but out of strong emotion, right? It just we react without thinking. So we maybe skip that progression. You can learn to pause, get control, and think about how you want to respond. You'll make smarter decisions. What I've learned when I've gone through these things is you should not really ignore your emotions and just think, and have no response. Because that's when feelings become kind of repressed and they come out even stronger later on. So, but the how response, and the how response may be to do nothing. Somebody bumps you in the hallway and you go through that pausing of just saying the first, hey, anger, resentment, oh, that person must be out to get me. And then the thought or the action comes afterwards. If you just push pause for a second and you still want to respond to, hey, excuse me, or whatever it may be, we'll never want you to just completely repress your emotions. We just want you to think about once it goes from emotion to thought and we're getting close to that action stage, maybe being able to slow down the process and say, how can I productively react to this that won't make anything worse for people around me or really myself? So thanks for listening. I love talking to the 7th graders about their feelings, especially big, tough athlete boys and everybody out there. We love talking about feelings, but they are important. We need to understand them. We need to know how to make them work to our advantage. So thanks for listening, guys. Like I said, appreciate you. Missed you. You had a long weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, possibly. I have to actually shut this off. There we go. All right, see you guys.